Today, we're talking with a pastor who solved their capacity crisis without building a bigger building and actually doubled their ministry impact in the process. Welcome, Pastor Binh Nguyen, into the YouTube channel today. Great to have you
Thanks, John.
here. What were the specific indicators that told you your one morning service had reached maximum capacity?
I read somewhere, I don't know whether it's true or maybe it's from you, John. Someone said that once you reach to a certain percentage of building capacity, it's a good time to maybe look for another building or have a second service. So we got to, I think, around 85, 90% building capacity.
Wow.
And
Yep.
that kind of made me think about, well, maybe this is time to have a second service. But not only that, John, our building is in Leaderville, which means that we have no parking on our premise. We're all street parkers and we got to walk to the building.
Mm,
And so I realized that people are walking a few blocks into worship. And that got me thinking about maybe this is the right time to have a second service.
mm. And Leaderville is a inner city area of Perth, and so parking is a difficult thing to do. It's not like you've got acres of parking base. What's the capacity of your seating area, your auditorium area of your church?
Yeah, so we're quite a small building. We can only have 300 chairs in the auditorium.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the council can only allow me to have 349 worshippers at any given
Right.
Sunday.
Yep.
So when
Yep.
we were passing 315, 320 people on Sunday morning,
Yep.
I was getting a bit worried.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of young families as well, reflecting your stage of life, and so extra numbers of children add to those numbers, which is great for your church. So, walk us through your decision-making process. You're thinking, man, we're getting really foolish. Um, what sort of process did you do? How did you also handle any pushback you got from your congregation or even your leaders when they realised this is going to be a pretty big deal to add a second service?
Yeah, that's a good question, John. I kind of I kind of worked at heart. I kind of said the why behind it was important for
Mm,
us to create space. So I didn't talk about what's going to look like or when this will take place. I was just saying, hey, look, there's too many people coming. Even issues with the kids block, like we're having like probably 35 kids in one room,
mm,
and the pressure of just having too many people gather for worship. And I kind of felt it was really hard to meet new people. So I wanted my
mm.
leaders and my church to see what was happening and the why it was important for us to create space for our kids, space for worshipers. And I didn't want people walking like 2, 3 blocks, into church. And I just spoke more about why this was important, why. And then I kind of said what it may look like. And,
Mm.
and then I kind of did a bit of a survey, John. I kind of asked the church, okay, look, if we were to do a second service, when would you want it to be? And I kind of gave some options out there and I kind of let them decide. And this was a process of probably 12 months in the making. And finally, we
Right.
arrived to 2 services.
I love the fact that you went to the why, not just the what and the how. So giving solid, rational reasons behind it really does help a congregation move to that. And also the fact, did you say 12 months? It was a 12-month process,
Yeah.
talking, analyzing, surveying your congregation. I love
Yeah.
that you took the time to do that. Did you feel frustrated at any time in the 12 months? Like, gee, I wish we just could get on and do this?
Yeah, most definitely. Because people were, like coming and some said, look, it was just too crowded. See,
Right.
another thing is we had this very small foyer. And it's the foyer where you kind of meet people. It's the foyer where you grab your
Mm,
coffee. And trying to squeeze 300 plus people into a small foyer was actually so awkward and it was horrible. And
yeah.
that was another frustration, just seeing people come to worship and then leaving because they didn't want to stay around. There's no space for them to stay around. So yeah, it was a interesting 12 months, but we got there at the end.
I think that is really challenging because all of us as pastors want to grow a healthy church. We want church growth. We want church health. But then when you see that going on of, oh, people are not staying, they won't connect. And so they probably won't come back or they'll give up eventually because it's too hard to connect with people. Did you have any pushback from your church about, oh, why should we do this? We're doing great. There's a great atmosphere, great
Mm,
crowd.
mm. Honestly, I'm such a nice pastor that I never get pushbacks.
I'm not sure if we're buying what you're selling there, bro.
Nah, nah, nah. Look, be honest. God be my witness, I didn't have any pushbacks. They were like, you know what, we
Mm,
trust you, Ben. We trust you. And I was hoping that they could see what I was seeing, and they saw it. And they saw the need to have a second service, which meant
right.
that we were going to see people go to different services, more volunteer, and a bit of issues with that, but it wasn't that major. I'm very blessed that Sun Life Church is a very nice and gracious church. God has been very kind to me.
That's awesome. With the survey, did anything come through the survey that surprised you, that caught you off guard in terms of what people preferred in relation to time of Sunday or
Mm.
time of the weekend for a second service, or anything that they kind of put forward?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that they would have gone to what we had pre-COVID, which was back to back, like 9
Right.
and 11.
Mm.
But to my surprise, they wanted one in the morning and then one in the afternoon. So we have now a 10 in the morning and a 4:30 p.m., which meant that my staff had to, use Sunday as a full work day. But the
Yeah.
rationale was this, John. They said, look, we're in Leaderville, which means we're right on the cafe strip. Let's have one in the morning so that people can go and have lunch afterwards. And then we
Mm.
have a service at 4:30 p.m. Guess what? People can have dinner and then be home for bed so that the kids can be at
Yeah.
school the next day. So the people voted and they wanted one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And we went with that. And it's worked out really, really well.
Wow. What sort of practical challenges did you find in terms of volunteers? And also, one of the big changes I noticed when we did multiple services back in our old building previously was you go from a full service to a not full service as a primary morning service. So you
Yeah.
lose some energy and atmosphere. What sort of
Yeah.
practical changes did you notice? Challenges did you notice?
So I was trying to bribe the guys to come down to the PM. That didn't work. I was saying, look,
Offering
come on, let's let's
incentives.
let's let's have 150 of you in the PM and maybe 200 in the morning. It didn't work. But John, here's the grace of God. Are you ready? Here's the grace of God. Right.
I'm
So
ready.
we're getting around 100 people in the PM, which is amazing, and I love the smaller
Wow.
crowd. But
Right.
the morning is around 300. So I don't know what happened. Like I thought by having two services, I would, spread the load and less pressure. But now the morning is growing. And so the latest talk right now at Sun Life is like, hey guys, you're not being obedient, right? You're still growing in the morning. So I might have to now do two services in the morning very, very soon.
My
And so we'll see
goodness.
how that go in the next 6 to 12 months.
Feeling stuck as a church leader? Growing your church doesn't have to be overwhelming. The Hub gives you step by step roadmaps to grow a healthy church in just 20 minutes a day. Join the hundreds of church leaders who found their breakthrough by accessing my 4 decades of ministry experience, which delivers genuine results. Start your free 14-day trial today at growahealthychurch.com/hub. How did you find in terms of raising up a separate team for worship, hospitality? Do you run children's ministry at the 4:30 service?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. So
Okay.
with worship, that was my worship pastor's problem, not my problem. So we had to figure that out. With
Okay. Good.
with the kids ministry, that was the kids ministry pastor's problem. So they
Good.
had to figure it
Great.
out. But you know what? They stepped up. They did it, and I'm just so grateful. I have the best team, and they're
Hmm.
just running with me. I mean, the preachers would preach twice, one in the morning, the same message in the
Right.
PM.
Yep.
I think the
Yep.
creative team are two different teams. The kids team are two different teams. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They just did it, and I'm just so grateful that I have a team who would actually step up to the occasion, and I'm just so grateful. It's not me. I'm not really smart when it comes to strategy and all that, but surely God was so kind in working in their hearts and the hearts of the
Hmm.
people at Sun Life Church.
Hmm. What do you think is one key that you utilize as a pastoral leader to empower people? I really like that. Hey, worship leader, that you figure it out and go do it. Kids leader, go do it. What do you think is the key that you have? What's the style, if you like, or the vibe that you have that empowers people like that, Ben? What's that
Uh,
for you?
You know what? I don't really see myself as a good leader, and I really, honestly, don't see myself as a good leader. I see myself more of like a teacher, pastor, preacher.
Right. Yeah.
And so, my church know that Ben is actually not really good when it comes to leading the church, so we got to help him.
Yeah.
And so they
Yeah.
just pick up all the slack, and they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben needs help. Ben's not that good." We'll help him. We'll figure it out. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that these people see my weakness and they compromise and they help me. And that's the key, John. Is just be who you are. I'm not Jonathan Kelly. I'm not Craig Michelle. I'm Binh Nguyen. And they see that this guy's here is pretty average, so they kind of help me out. And it's worked. It is worked, John. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah. I wonder if that strong pastoral element of your gifting is actually people are feeling loved and shepherded by you
Yeah.
through your various gifts, including teaching and preaching. So maybe it is that as well. They feel your confidence in them, and maybe also the fact that you're feeling like, gee, I really need a team around me. Maybe there's more to it than what you realize there, bro. You might need
Well,
a researcher to come in and analyze your team because it sounds like it's working.
I know the best consultant out there. But honestly, John, look, honestly, John, I'm just so blessed because
Yeah,
I always say to my team, my staff, my leaders, I said this to them. You know what? Just give it a go because if you're not
yeah,
trying, you never learn. And I promise my
yeah,
team, like if you mess up, if you fall, I'm gonna be the first one there to pick you up. I'm
yeah,
gonna be the first one to say it's okay. Let's just do it again. Let's
yeah,
try. And if you ain't changing, if you ain't learning, if you ain't giving it a go, we're not gonna grow as a church. So I kind of say those things, and it's kind of worked. And I'm
yeah,
blessed that my guys are so kind and so generous towards me. It's a joy serving them and shepherding them and leading them over the
yeah.
past 14 years.
People respond well to love, and I think that's a bit of what's going on there. I think, Ben. So you've now got two congregations in that sense. I mean,
Mm,
it's one church, but you've got, because you couldn't bribe the morning people to turn up at 4:30. You've got two congregations. So how do you maintain unity and community connection, which is a struggle for pastors when they go to two services? They
yeah,
intuitively know I'm going to end up with a two congregation scenario. How am I going to maintain
yeah.
unity and connection with that?
Yeah, so what I say, so this is the secret here, right? I say to each congregation, and by the way, I don't call them services, I call them crews. They're my different congregation. So there's the AM
Oh,
crew and the
yeah,
PM crew, because I want them to take ownership of that particular service. And so I kind of say this to the AM crew, you're my favorite. And then I said to the PM crew, "You're my favorite," and it's worked because then they know they're having me. Now, jokes aside, I make sure that they know that the leaders are still their leaders. I encourage my leaders to my key leaders to make sure that there's a presence in the AM and the PM.
right.
So I
Yeah,
make sure that my elders are there in the AM and the PM. So
yeah,
one of them might go, we'll do three in the AM and then one in the PM, which is fine.
yeah,
But we preach the same message. We have the same
yep,
energy. It's amazing, and I'm encouraging to see it's one church, but two different congregations.
yeah, yeah.
One senior pastor, one team. It's worked well, I think, for the time being.
And I think that sense of a same service also, people just lock into their 4:30 or 10 a.m. time, and that's my
Yep.
congregation. And I think building a thriving church community is really important for pastors and leaders to focus on. So if you want some simple steps to build a thriving church community, check out this next video. It really will help you, especially if you feel your church is not thriving as much as Bin's is, but is a bit stuck. That video will help you. And Ben, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, John. It's been a pleasure. Bye bye.